Alright, let's take a little drive and do a little talking while we're going. Alright, so anyway, I was talking to some buddies of mine, and you know, I was informed about an old friend of mine, and a guy that worked next to our shop, Darrell VIttone. And the last time I saw Darrell was at Irwindale Raceway. I had shown up, I hadn't seen him in 30 years. His right-hand guy, Colin Guyens, and I are about the same age. We worked together, worked next door to his shop, and we would always meet up and stuff like back years ago. This was when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, in that era. And then they all moved to Oregon. And so I hadn't seen neither of them since they moved there. So anyway, I just showed up, and I had no idea if they were going to be there or not. I wasn't sure. I thought, oh, I heard the inch pincher was going to run. You know, the inch pincher, it was a, you know, tribute car, whatever, somebody else made it. It wasn't the original car, of course. But it was going to run at Irwindale, so I thought, oh, I wonder. And I didn't know who was driving it. You know, nobody really said anything. It was just like the inch pincher was going to run. Oh, inch pincher, Darrell. Figured he'd probably be there. So, like I said, I hadn't seen him in 30 years. So I walk up behind Colin, of course, and I said something, I forget what I said. Didn't take much. He turns right around and he goes, wow! He says, who else is here? I hadn't seen him in 30 years, he recognized me right away. And then we started talking to Darrell, and before I even got a chance to even digest that I just saw him, he's like, dude, we gotta get the car ready. And you know, like, so like, it's like 30 years had gone by, but it was like the next day, you know, it was weird. And there we are getting the car ready, you know, to do the drag race. And I didn't even, you know, I was just, he was like, hey, we need to put some air in the tires, we grab the air tank, you know, stuff, whatever, just little things going on right between races, and so with me, Darrell, Colin and Darrell, something's dragging around. I think my curb feeler fell out. Let's check it out. That's noisy. Well, there's nothing worse than a curb feeler dragging the ground. Sound of that's remarkable. Anyway, where was I? So anyway, it was a fun day. We ran the car. At that point, Darrell was 73 and just as active as anybody, probably in their 50s. Darrell's just like, and the funny thing is, when we were there racing, you know, he said, he said to Colin, and they said to him, they said, look, you know, why don't you throw this race, because, and Darrell throwing a race, that's like not going to happen. So he looks over to Colin and he kind of whispers in his ear, and he says, no mercy. So Colin comes over, whispers in my ear, Darrell says, no mercy. So he was a drag racer all the way through. There's nothing that he was not throwing any races. You know, he was going to go at it all the way at 73 years old. Wasn't even his car, wasn't even his engine, and you know, he wasn't giving up. He wasn't gonna, you know, throw in your race. That's for sure. So anyway, he was a racer, you know, all the way through. I'll tell you another story. Back when I was younger, and I don't know, Darrell probably wouldn't even remember if he was still alive and stuff. But I went up to him. Actually, I think I did bring that up to him when we were there. I had to bring it up. I just had to. And I said to him, I actually did. I remember him saying it. I said, Darrell, I said, don't you, there was a time back years ago, we were in your shop, and I said something, I asked you something about an air-cooled engine. It was like a camshaft thing, you know, what's the best camshaft for this, blah, 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 is there any secrets? And he says to me, he says, Mike, we don't talk about air-cooleds anymore. It's water-cooled. Okay, this was a statement he made in his shop years ago. So I said, I brought that up again. I said, Darrell, I said, there was years ago I asked you something about, and he goes, all he said was, we're older and wiser now. That was his answer. So I said that to him about the air-cooled thing back years ago, and that's what he said. We're older and wiser now. So anyway, he got back in air-cooleds. It was very neat to see him doing some air-cooled stuff before he passed, and, you know, got the passion back for that. And because really it was, water-cooled was a big thing to him. He got burned out on air-cooled, the whole, you know, volume efficiency and all that of air-cooled engines are only going to go so far. So he brought that up, and since then I was talking to him through Facebook. We were, well, actually through Messenger, and I hadn't talked to Darrell in probably a couple of years, you know, about 2 years or so. I've just been busy with a lot of things, and I just haven't really had time to talk to him. But I mean, as far as communicate with him, but we communicated a bit through Messenger when he was doing the Gia, trying to set the record for the Gia to go out to where was that? I was supposed to go out to that, and shoot, I missed it. Something happened. I had to work on that weekend. That they had the you know, what was it? The high speed thing where he's going the fastest speed, top speed, in at 36 horsepower, and he ran like 160 something miles an hour. And I couldn't make it. I talked to him about being there, and then all of a sudden, the last minute, I got scheduled to work doing stuff. So it was kind of a drag. I was hoping that we were going to be able to do that again, but you know, you just don't know when your number's up, man. You know, you just can't. You don't know when it's going to happen. You know, you could. That's why I always tell people, you know, get your car done, drive it. You know, don't be sitting there looking at every little stupid little thing, because it's just gonna. Those little things aren't going to matter to you if you're dead. You know, it's just the way it is. That's life. You know, live and enjoy your car. You know, get it nice enough, but don't be so crazy about some stupid little thing that nobody's going to see. You know, nobody cares. It's like me spending 100 hours on trying to fix the ripples in the back of that bus above the engine. That'd be just dumb for me to do that. That would be a waste of my life. Because you don't know how many years you got. You could, you know, I had a heart attack, you know, last year, and almost died. And I was only 55. I'm only 55 now, so I was only 54. So you don't know when it's going to happen. Just try and enjoy every moment, and make the best of it. All right, guys. So this is it. talk about what this is. It's kind of a noisy area. If I should leave the windows down. Let's get out for a second. I don't have my mask, so I can't be out for very long. So this here was Darrell and Colin's shop in Riverside. It's now a transmission shop. And right here was where we worked spraying custom paint at Big Peaks Painting. So you guys in Europe probably go, God, man, that's way, you know, right there. You know, it was like just everyday life for me. You know, it was, here's the wall between us. So we'd be spraying cars in here, doing custom paint, and then we'd hear something cool, usually about 5 o'clock or something like that. Something cool would fire up over here. We come walking out around these same dumpsters right here, and we'd walk right over there in Darrell's shop, and you know, if we heard something really cool, if it was like a turbo something or big engine, and they were doing runs on it, it usually was going on all day. Sometimes we just kind of talk around outside his shop, and I was working right over here in these two bays, and it was fun times. You know, we worked there and saw Darrell and Colin every day, you know, 30 years ago, 30 some odd years ago. And at that point, it was water-cooled engines. And he wasn't doing anything with air-cooled at all. And like I said, when I brought up the thing about air-cooled, he was older and wiser, you know, when he was in the 70s, which was very cool. I was so surprised that he was actually even interested in it. And when he built that, the 36 horsepower challenge car, I was just like going, oh my God, this is so awesome. Something I wanted to see when I was 18, you know. And right out here, I remember Joe Vittone drove up. I forget what they drove up in. Some kind of a cool car. I have no idea. There was always, I thought it was a big car, but I can't remember, like a, you know, some sort of Cadillac or Lincoln or something. But he came by a few different times. But I heard he had something really cool. I don't remember really what it was, but I just remember him coming up and getting out, and then Darrell coming out of the shop, and all of a sudden everything in our shop shut down. You know, it was like all the whatever, all of a sudden everything's, dyno's not running. And I look outside and there's Joe, and so Richard comes walking over, McPeak comes walking over, and so I figured all of us started walking over. We all had a big circle right out here, and Joe was talking and everybody was listening, and it was just cool. He must have been, I don't know, in his 80s. I don't know exactly how old he was, but I remember he had a presence, you know, and that was really cool. And you know, it's just stuff you didn't even think about now. You know, you think about it now and you go, man, you just took it for granted. Back then it just was, that was like a huge thing, but to me it was just like, oh, it was just Joe, you know, and it was just Darrell, you know, it was just guys that came around, you know. So it was not a, but to a lot of people maybe today in the VW world, you just think, wow, you know, that's amazing, you know. That was like Darrell Vittone and Joe Vittone, you know, Joe founded EMPI, had, you know, Darrell had the race shop, you know. It was, that was just everything was right there. So anyway, that was a cool time for me back then. I just think about it now, but back then, like I said, I didn't even really think about it. It was, I almost forgot about it until I thought about it. I went, oh yeah. You know, somebody asked me about that, and they said, oh, did you ever meet Joe Vittone? I went, yeah. You know, and they're like, what? No, you know, it's just, it was nothing. It was a no big deal. But you know, it's really sad. Too bad. I was hoping that I would get with Darrell and Colin on another build. I was kind of wondering what was going on. Didn't have time to really contact them, and then I find out he had cancer. You know, You know, life just does that to you. You know, you don't know when it's going to happen, and that's why I tell you guys, you know, when guys get so crazy about everything being perfect on their car, it's like, really? Is it that important? Really? You know, nice is important, but perfect is really not that important, you know, because living and enjoying, you know, driving your car, like right now, I was just going to do a driving video, and I thought, well, why not do an ode to Darrell? Be kind of cool. Anyway, talk to you guys in the next video. We got coming up here shortly. We're going to be doing a COVID-19, I don't even know what you call it, thank you drive. So that'll be interesting. Come back for that. I'll talk to you in the next one. Please like, share, and subscribe.